Welcome back to the Anxious Club podcast, the #1 podcast in the world.
According to
Us.
me and you.
Yeah. And we're here.
We are here
We did it.
for episode numero dos. Number 2.
How do you feel?
I'm nervous.
I'm nervous too.
I'm like, how long till I'm not nervous anymore?
I think like 20.
Okay, 20 we'll
Episode
get it.
20.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, maybe minute 20, it gets better and better.
Minute 20.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like the first 30 where I'm like,
Yeah. Which is like the whole podcast.
yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I watched our first episode
Yeah.
and it was hard.
Yeah, it was hard.
It was difficult.
I agree.
It wasn't. It got me really excited. I was so happy we were finally doing it. But I did feel a lot of self-judgment towards myself. And I think I texted you that too. I was like, I like it, but I am judging myself so hard.
Yeah, we both texted about it a little bit. And what I thought was funny was you were like, oh my God, you were like cringing at yourself. And I was like, oh my God, me too. And you were like, what? No, you were like so likable and confident. And I was like, I thought you were so likable and confident.
I know, like I literally didn't even notice you. I was like, she did great. She did amazing. And everything that you talked about, critiqued yourself about, is what I felt about myself.
Yeah, which really shows something.
Yes.
There's something to unpack there.
There's something to unpack.
So that's kind of, after having this conversation, you and I were just like, okay, this is what we should talk about on the second episode.
Yes. Immediately we had a topic.
Yeah. Is just being like way too hard on yourself.
Way too hard. And I think it's just like, I think you liked it, but I made a TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And I was basically saying how I just had this realization that humans are not meant to watch themselves back.
Yeah.
Think of like Stone Age, not Stone Age.
Well, kind of, but that's
Stone
like
Age?
way far back.
Aren't our brains still the same?
I have no idea. I'm not that smart.
They haven't caught up to like how we evolved.
Yeah.
So it's just, we didn't have cameras and we didn't have technology and something that could literally play back our every move.
Yeah.
So there wasn't even mirrors at one point,
Yes. No, I completely agree. I mean, I think that everybody to a certain extent deals with just judging themselves too hard, but I definitely think a lot of it is because with social media, we put our best self out there and only our best self, Why are you laughing at me?
I don't know. I feel a laugh attack coming on and I can't. All right, focus. 1000%. No, it's because I was like thinking back to one of the things I was being really, really critical about. And that was both of us adjusting our shirts and hair every 3 seconds.
I know.
So as you're sitting here talking, I'm like fighting the urge to adjust my hair or my outfit,
That's so funny. Yeah, I was like fixing myself like a billion times. Like, I don't know, dude. I think that, listen, there's a certain degree, like everybody goes through it. I think it's natural,
Yes.
like we all have a bit of like perfectionism and like wanting people to like us and wanting to look good. Like that's okay. It's natural. I think when it becomes an issue is when it starts holding you back from your potential. So like say like, I know for you, you're wanting to do YouTube, you're wanting to do social media. I think it's fine to like have critiques, but if you're not posting something or if you're not like making steps forward because it's that hard or you're that hard on yourself, I think that's when it's a problem.
Oh, yeah. I think that's when I stopped myself from creating content, especially doing YouTube videos, because it's so much more different than a podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm doing a vlog, I can edit every little thing. If I say like too much and I sound like a valley girl and I'm insecure about that, I can edit all of those out. But with podcasting, it's supposed to be like
it's raw, baby.
A seamless conversation.
Yeah.
And that's harder. It's harder to focus on.
Yeah. I mean, and I think for us too, like we're best friends, we're way more comfortable with each other. So like our valley girl tends to come out and like that's just part of our dynamic naturally. Yeah. So I do think that's part of it too, is because both of us have a lot of depth. We're not just like, oh my God, all the time. But with my best friend, like I'm going to be like that.
Oh yeah. We're so extra with each other.
We're so extra. So I do think episode 1, seeing that back, like a lot of things came up, but and I think you said this too, like it's a great opportunity to overcome that. Like just having to literally not give a fuck.
Yes.
You know?
And I think, I think we're going to learn that through this journey.
Yeah.
But there's two parts to it, because it can be as simple as we're still learning how to even podcast and be podcasters. So it's just going to get more comfortable as time goes on. Just like if you were a host on a TV show or something, like right away it might feel weird and then you get so good at it. So that's just going to come with time. But yes, learning to not be so self-critical, or just kind of getting over it,
right?
You know, and just being confident in who you are. And yeah, maybe that is just who you are. But I think that this really goes back such a long way.
Deep.
This is so deep.
Yeah.
You know, when I really think about why I was critiquing myself in the way that I was critiquing myself while watching back that video. I mean, this goes back years and years.
Where do you think, like, or what are some examples where you feel like you could...
Bitches making money!
Cha-ching! Money.
Cha-ching!
I got a sale on my Etsy shop. Shout out Keziah Home.
You're rich.
I'm rich.
Will you buy me a Louis bag?
Anything you want, baby.
Sugar mama.
we can't do that because we're way too ADD to like have a noise throw us off.
I know. Well, last time it was me forgetting to turn off my phone.
And you didn't yell at me like I yelled at you.
But there's cha-ching, that's a good sound to have.
That's a good sound. We need more of that.
If you guys need to know, like, every time we make money, or Sid makes money, I'm not even making money.
Well, anything that's mine is yours.
Drinking game.
Yeah.
Anytime Sid makes money, we take shots.
I was going to ask you, like, I'm sure you can think of a billion things, but what are a few things that stand out to you in your life, in your experience, that you feel like have been, have contributed to like the self-doubt?
Okay.
Unpack it.
I've been waiting to do this for a while.
Right.
No, but this goes back. Let's go back. Let's go way back. Okay. When I first moved to LA, I had an amazing opportunity to audition and be part of a reality TV show. So I was part of this reality.
I was friends with you then.
I know, crazy. I went onto this reality show. It was a DJ competition show. And basically Tiesto was like the main, just to give a background about it. Let's not look this up, guys. But anyways, and so that was the first time really like that I was put out there for an audience in that sense.
Yeah.
So the episodes came out on YouTube. My specific episode got over 500,000 views. And I looked at the comments, you know.
Oh gosh, the freaking comments.
The comments. And I remember, I mean, this is more of a physical thing, but I know a lot of people in social media, in this world, whatever world, goes through this. And this, I got such a minimal taste of it. Yeah. And somebody commented on my teeth.
Oh my gosh.
I just had
such a minimal thing, and it's like
I had never noticed my teeth before. They were just a little crooked, and eventually I would have gotten them fixed, whatever. Immediately got Invisalign after that. Like, it bugged me so much.
Yeah.
But
just to chime in, I relate to that too. I think that the entertainment industry is very difficult, and like anyone that's posting anything online is going to get comments, but when you have something to that caliber where like there's a lot of eyes on it, like there's just going to be negative. For me in the entertainment industry, it has been in music. Me and my brothers moved out here on a record deal, and when I got here, I mean, I'm from Texas, so like we don't know what's like I feel like once you move to LA, like you actually start like understanding like what is making you unattractive, but like, do you know what I mean? You start picking yourself apart very specifically, and you start paying attention
and
to
maybe it was the time too, we didn't even really care what we posted on Instagram.
Yeah, like, so I moved here green. Like, I had no clue. Like, I wasn't feeling like super insecure or anything. And at the time too, like I've never been like extremely skinny. I'm obviously curvy, but at the time I was like not very skinny at all. And I just remember the label that we were signed to literally only let me order salads. that was it, which is actually funny looking back, because like now that, like, that's not even healthy.
I never even knew that.
Yeah, I literally just had to eat salads. Like, they would order like Chinese food or like hot dogs or whatever, and like the boys and everyone else would get like all the stuff, and I just had to have salad.
Wow.
And they were like, she needs to lose weight, like, or else, you know, like, no one's gonna want to. They literally said to my parents, like, people need to want to fuck her.
No.
Yeah, they literally
I
said
never knew that.
Yeah,
That's
literally
insane.
And this was like when I knew you too. Like, it was that first deal.
Yeah.
That when I moved out here. Yeah. So I mean, there's that, you know, and it's like that's both of those things, comments, or like whether it's literally someone telling you like you need to lose weight so that people find you attractive.
Yeah.
Is like pretty, like, okay, now I'm starting to, that's like a trigger of like, okay, well, I'm insecure now.
Yeah.
You know?
And like and then, you know, that's like a physical thing, but you know, then it starts becoming about your personality or just more of that kind of thing. And I remember when that first started for me was I went to one of those like, you know, those Tony Robbins, like transformational. Yeah. Okay. I've already forgot the name of the place I went to, but anyways, I went to one of those. This was right after the show. And
didn't you also go to Tony Robbins?
I did.
Okay.
I've done it all.
Yeah. All the help.
All the help. No, but I went to one of those, and basically, you know, I have a lot of childhood trauma and just like come from a certain situation that has caused me to disassociate a lot. That's one of my biggest like anxiety symptoms. Yeah. And if I'm sitting there talking about something serious or whatever it is, like if I have to talk to a group of people, you know, sometimes I plan it out beforehand because I'm anxious. I don't know. It's this whole thing. So I had to like get up and tell a story about myself in front of like my little group of people, and I disassociated. So when I disassociate, I can come off a certain way, and everybody got feedback in the group, and mine was like the really only negative one.
Really?
And it has stuck to me.
What was it,
day.
if you don't mind saying?
It was in unauthentic.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It was coming off unauthentic, and oh my God, that has killed me ever since, you know? 'Cause
yeah, I hear you say that all the time still.
You have heard me say that, yeah.
I feel like there's a little bit of a fear that you have of you want to be taken seriously. Which, like, just knowing where you come from and your background makes sense. I think you're comfortable kind of like staying in like the funny, like not too serious, and like playing into that role. Yeah. And what's interesting about me is I'm the complete opposite. I've always been like hold it together for everybody, hold it down. And I wasn't like that as a kid. I was like fun, like I was a dancer, like I loved to put on shows, and I was very, very eccentric. Not that I'm not eccentric now, but it's different. I've changed. There's like been a pivot. And I feel like now, like what I'm having to work on is like being able to be okay, like seen making a fool of myself. Yeah. You know, like even it used to be as dramatic in high school as like I didn't even want my friends to see me sleeping. Like it made me insecure because it's like a very vulnerable position to be in. Yeah, it was deep. And like I think I've come out of that a lot, but I just think that's interesting because we're completely different when it comes to that.
And I think that it's like if I'm then being my vulnerable self and being more serious, I could come off unauthentic. So what do? I entertain, and I kind of am the most absurd sides of myself, you know, or I don't know. You get what I'm saying?
No, I totally get what you're saying. Like the thing is like we're a little bit of everything, you know, so trying to find that balance. I think because the self-doubt is there, we have comfort that we like go to. So I'm more comfortable in this side of things and you're more comfortable in that side of things. And like operating in the unknown is scary because you're not, you know, you don't want to be perceived a certain way. So yeah, I definitely feel that. It's not just like a physical thing. It's totally a personality thing. And I think the older you get, the more you care about the personality side of it too.
Yeah. Yeah. And remember how, and this is something we've talked about too, how if I'm having social anxiety or I'm just around a group of people, I can overcompensate.
Yeah.
And other people in our lives have done that too. And I feel like that really comes from anxiety, you know. But as I've gotten older, I've become extremely critical of my personality more than my looks, because deep down I know who I am, and I can be my most authentic true self with you per se, but not a lot of people get to see that side of me. And so I want to show it more, especially like going on this venture and doing this podcast.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's really hard for me, and it's really nerve-wracking to kind of
lean into it. Yeah. No, I completely get it. And that's why I think that this is good, because I don't think we're alone in this. No. Like, I think everybody
I do too.
struggles with this. And I think that what's really cool about podcasting, as you know, as long form content, is being able to talk about these things. Other people relate to this, and other people need to hear this. And I think too, like, maybe if someone was looking at your Instagram, they would never know like these thoughts that are like running through your head, because you don't choose to show them. And it's hard to show them in like a short little clip or like a photo, you know, like people try, but it's really hard to like dig into it. And so, yeah, I think it's cool that we're having like this conversation and talking about it, because like we're feeling it in real time. We're actually feeling it as we're doing this podcast.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm so proud of you, because it really like, I see the struggle that you've had of just letting loose.
Yeah.
In that sense, it is more the opposite than, you know?
Yeah.
And there was a time where you had to take a step back from me.
Yeah.
You had to take a step back from people you were extremely close with, so that you could give yourself a chance to not be yourself. Like, be your role that you've been playing for so long.
That's a huge thing, is like, I've found that I'm sometimes the least comfortable with the people that I'm closest to, which might be a red flag. But it's just like, I do tend to put myself in a role of like, I don't need help and I can help everyone. But that's not true. Yeah. So then it's like, when I meet a stranger, there's no pressure for me to show up as like Superwoman. I can just be wild. They don't know me. So it's like, they don't know the me that I've like almost curated or put out there. So yeah, but I think that before COVID, during COVID, and then coming out of it, like those were really some like transformative years for me personally, and like kind of just being fed up with myself and with being that way. I'm not saying I'm perfect either. I'm not saying I'm fully there, but I do think that I've figured out a lot of that.
But do you get scared when you watch yourself back that you're just going to come off in that way?
Just what?
I'm saying, because if we're going like switching it up to just talking about how it affects us in relationships, or how relationships can make us feel self-judgment, do you feel that when you're watching yourself back?
When I'm watching myself back,
how others that are close to you or whatever that have this certain image of you are going to see you?
That like, am I worried that they're going to see me like being silly, or am I worried that I will come off too like analytical and serious?
Yes.
That one, the second one?
Yeah, like as they think of you, what they think of you.
No, I wouldn't say like, when I'm watching myself back, I wouldn't say I have any conscious thoughts of like the stuff that I'm talking about just like in my day-to-day life, like about what my people will think. I think it's more just like self-judgment. I think it's just me being like, ew, why did you say it that way? Or like, I don't know. I don't think it's attached to other people's opinions as much, like when I'm just watching myself back. Which also I think is another thing too that maybe we're different on, is I think the way that I critique myself has a lot to do with myself internally. And it doesn't always have to do with like things that I've experienced through other people. Yours might be tethered a little bit more to other people's opinions. I don't know. Do you think that's correct?
1,000%. Okay. Yeah, I think mine goes back to that a lot too. Just growing up in a specific way where my voice wasn't as heard and my opinions didn't matter, and yeah, I just felt small. So, you know, and then just I just came off of a very serious relationship, you know, last year, and I'm still dealing with the, you know, effects of that.
Totally.
And effects of the judgment that that happened in that relationship, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally was said to in one of my relationships, you thought I was judging you, and I was.
Yeah.
You know? So I guess when I watch myself back, I still go to, oh my gosh, what is this person going to think? You know? It's not only that specific person, it's others too that have been really strong personalities in my life.
And so would anyone, by the way.
Yeah.
When you hold somebody that you're supposed to hold on a pedestal, I mean, why would you date somebody that you didn't think highly of in the first place? So when somebody's on that pedestal and then they're judging you or telling you like you're not X, Y, and Z, like, of course that's gonna like hit a chord.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I'm so over that. Like, I just want to be me.
Yeah.
I just want to be myself.
Fuck
like,
yeah, dude.
Who cares,
Exactly.
you know? Like, I don't want to be dumbed down or have that, but it's so hard to let go of those ties. It seriously feels impossible. But I think over time,
it's a day. I was going to say that. It's a day by day.
Yeah.
Like, it does not happen overnight. And that's the one thing that I've learned is like the changes that I have to make are taking time. And that's okay. You know, you can be okay with that.
I think one of the main things to realize is that kind of what we were saying before, everyone really goes through this.
Yeah.
I mean, we are not different when it comes to that.
No.
And I feel like when other people talk about it openly, we realize we're not alone.
Yeah.
And that is a really big thing for people. And what's crazy is you're really, like, you're the one looking at yourself. You know what I mean? What do they say? It's like...
you're your own harshest critic.
Yeah, but how I didn't notice your insecurities.
Yeah.
And you didn't notice mine.
Yeah.
And we were pumped about each other's performance. Like, we really thought we did such a good job.
Yeah.
But with our own stuff, we were so just, like, microscoping.
Yeah, I think, like, literally something I've heard people say is, like, people just don't care that much.
No.
They just don't care that much.
Or they do, but if they do, they're trolls and they're very unhappy with themselves.
Yeah. And they also, a lot of times, don't care that much also.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times, you'll hear celebrities be like, yeah, like, this person was, like, hating, and then I responded. Like, I actually responded to one hater, and then they're like, oh, I'm sorry, like, I was just saying that because I just wanted to get your attention. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's, like, it's just not that serious.
It really bums me out how a lot of us are our own worst critic.
Yeah.
Because we should be pumping ourselves up, you know, and sometimes I do that. And I'm sure you do too, you know.
This is the hardest part for me. I'll go through a season where I genuinely feel like I figured out life. Like, I've cracked the code. I am killing it.
Yes.
You know, I feel like I could walk into any room and I'm so in my own, like, whoever I am.
Yeah.
That, like,
me too.
no
I call it
worry.
a manic episode. And they're great.
Oh my God, that's so funny. But so the hard part for me is, like, feeling like that will never go away. Like, I've unlocked it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it goes away.
Bitch, you're literally talking about a manic episode.
Okay, well, maybe I am.
I'm not here to
manic,
diagnose you, but
but please.
that is literally
I would love
it.
some answers.
No, but I mean, it can be a subtle one. You know,
Yeah.
it's just
No, I
that
honestly,
switch.
I don't think the good is manic for me, at least. Like, I'm not saying that can't be manic for other people, but I don't think it's manic. I think it's almost just, I don't know. I think it's just where I'm supposed to live.
I think
then that's okay. Like, it goes away sometimes, and that's okay. You know?
I think maybe it's something in your life is not triggering you at that moment, or something.
Yeah.
Where
I
it's
think
off
it's
your
just seeing
shoulders.
clearly. Like, it's seeing things for what they actually are. Like, how special and unique my exact story is, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, but then, like, sometimes you just lose sight of that, you know?
I have those, but like I said, I cannot distinguish if it is a manic episode or if it is real. But it feels amazing. And you're right. It's like that feeling of, oh, I have the answers. And, oh, why did I ever care what anybody thought?
Right.
Or it's amazing, you know?
It's amazing. But will it ever stay? I don't know. Like, when we're 30, like, does it just stay? And, like, this is the thing I hear people in their 30s and 40s is, like, you're always changing.
Yes.
Life is always lifing.
Yeah. Life is always lifing. It is literally a fucking wave, okay? Life is a wave. I swear to God, life is a wave. I swear. And the more you think about it, facts, life is a wave. It is a wave, okay?
Okay.
Like, really think about that.
No, I get
and
it.
it
Like,
never stops. The
keeps
ocean
crashing.
The ocean never stops.
Yeah.
Life never stops.
But the ocean's beautiful.
The ocean is beautiful.
But there's so much trash.
But there's trash.
Yeah.
And it just
Yeah.
for real.
No, I feel that. That's
it.
Yeah.
Period. Like, we're done.
So
Sorry.
crash.
We're like,
All right,
okay,
everyone,
let's go.
we'll
See you
go
later.
home now. No, I totally feel that. The other thing that I was going to say is, and I don't remember, I think it was like Will and Jada Smith maybe, or some other woke couple that raised woke kids, is how important, like, obviously all the things that we've talked about are like conscious things that have happened to us in our adulthood. But I think that there are some things that happen to us as kids that like go into our subconscious and affect how we view ourselves or how seriously we take ourselves or whatever. A good example would be like you're in a room full of adults and you're a kid and you do something that they think is cute and they all innocently just like laugh at you. And they're not laughing to be cruel. You're cute. You're a kid. But you as a kid feel embarrassment because you just did something and you're associating the laughter with you're embarrassed, right? And as a kid, those like pivotal moments are actually so important to us because then that's the first time we ever feel like ashamed of like whatever it was that we're doing. So I think a parenting style that I think I don't remember who it was, but treating kids like adults more, not in like every regard, but like valuing their opinion, valuing their thoughts, not laughing everything that they say off. But when they have an idea, you're like, oh my gosh, what a great idea.
It's like not breaking the fourth wall. Do you get what I'm saying?
Are you saying like they don't understand that you're laughing because they're cute?
And they're being a kid.
Yeah.
They just understand you're laughing.
They're a human being.
Yeah.
That have like emotions, feelings, thoughts. They may not be like as advanced because they haven't lived as long.
Right.
But all of those same emotions are existing.
Yeah.
And we have to like intentionally treat them as so.
And another massive one that I just hear so many people that struggle as adults talk about, bullying.
Yep.
Bullying is absolutely huge. And I know most of us go through it really bad, especially around middle school.
Yeah.
And it can be major effects in our adulthood, you know?
Yeah. And that's a hard one because there's no solution to that.
No.
Like kids are going to be kids. I think that's why it's really important for parents to figure it out at home and be really solid so that they have such a good foundation. Because like there's always going to be some shithead kid that just like wants to be that way. Oh my gosh, speaking of, the other day I literally saw some real life bullying happen. Did I tell you about this?
No, with kids?
Kids.
What?
It was like from a fucking movie. It was right outside of the podcast studio. And because there's a school behind this building. And they were on the playground. They were at recess. And there was this one like big, tall boy and this like really skinny, short boy. And they were like leaning against a fence. And the big like boy had two friends next to him with a basketball. And that he was bouncing the basketball off of the little kid's head. Like over and over again.
That's
and
crazy.
I'm like, me and my friend Ashley were like, is this happening? Because it was straight from a movie. So I walked over to the kid.
No, you interfered.
I interfered. I walked over to him and I just looked at him for a second and I said, "Are you good?"
No.
And he was so flustered.
No.
He was like, no, we're friends. We're good. We're friends. This is my friend, by the way. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, because if you guys aren't friends, just so you know, there's nothing cool about that.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, we're friends. I promise. And then I was like, all right. And then I walked away.
Oh my God. You're like the bully police.
Yeah, I am.
Should we just sit at parks and like be
No, I
bully
will gladly
police?
be the bully police.
Or
now
is that abusive to other people's kids? No.
It's literally. It's
Wait,
not like
should we start a bully police force?
Sure. I mean, it's going to be hard. Like, we're going to waste a lot of time, like, just trying to, like, wait around for a bully. But
I got time.
Yeah.
Give me a latte.
If you got the time, that could be, like, our volunteering giving back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sid and Kaya here to stop bullying
Save your kids.
all across the parks
We're on a mission.
of America. It's kind of funny because that's interesting. I don't ever remember seeing boys get bullied when I was younger. Maybe I wasn't, because I wasn't focused on
we
boys.
weren't focused on them at that age.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I got bullied a lot, but
they had cooties in elementary school. Like we didn't.
Yeah, but you know how you see in movies when they give each other wedgies and stuff, like the boys? I never saw any of that.
No, that's what I'm saying. I literally saw it and I was like, oh, this isn't just like something from the movies. It was crazy.
That's
I had
wild.
to say something. Yeah. But anyways, so we deal with it. Everyone deals with it. Being way too hard on yourself. Being overcritical.
Yeah.
What are some, if any, what are some things that you do to like combat it?
Girl.
For the viewers, give them some tips.
For the viewers?
Yeah.
For the viewers, absolutely nothing. I'm just kidding. No,
Not you sounding like Moira Rose.
Did I? Oh, I love sounding like Moira.
Me too, but I can't do it very good.
I forgot. I need to rewatch. When I was watching it, oh my gosh, I had it to a T.
Yeah.
But, and I had, what's the girl?
Alexis. Oh, wait, that's Moira saying
Alexis?
Yeah.
Oh, is
David.
it? David.
Yeah.
David. No, listen. No, I really I don't know, guys. Like I'm really starting this journey now to combat it, like truly. And this podcast is part of that journey. Just putting myself out there, being like, okay, I'm being critical of this video, but it's okay. I'm going to let it go. I don't care. Especially if I hear someone like my best friend who I trust so much telling me it's okay. You're fine. I didn't even notice. You look great. Everything's great. You sound great. I'm going to trust that.
Maybe I'm doing that to sabotage you.
Don't.
I'm just kidding. Never.
Sid.
Never.
What are you saying?
Huh?
Are you outing yourself right now?
No, I'm kidding.
I have trust issues.
I know.
Okay.
I'm exploiting them.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I like that. I mean, so you're saying
I'm starting
your approach
now.
is like saying, fuck it, I'm doing it anyway.
Yes, my approach is kind of hearing the voice, knowing that that's what's happening.
Yeah.
So I texted you and I knew, I was like, I'm being self-critical. It's because XYZ. Knowing where it came from.
Right.
Like how we've been talking about, just tracing it back, realizing it might not be reality, and just trying to really let it go.
Right.
And I think we'd be able to tell if it's something where we're like, okay, I really actually didn't like the way I came off, and that's just not who I want to be, or something like that. There's a difference. There's a difference. But truly, I'm just really learning to let it go, move on, and just appreciate myself and my personality for what it is.
Yeah.
And I think it's like knowing who you actually are and being confident about that and accepting that.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, I think that that's what you just said is the best thing that you could possibly do. There's other things, sure, but I think that's the best thing, is actually surrendering and just being like, no matter what, I'm just going to do me. There's always more positive comments than there is negative. It's just the negative ones that we focus on. But there's always more positive than there is negative. So I think what you said is awesome. Other than that, I think that I've just put a couple boundaries in my life, like certain people that just don't make me feel great or aren't reciprocating energy or that I just feel like are taking a lot. Sorry, it's not like I'm not like I'm going to cut you off, but I am going to like put distance.
It's removing yourself from those toxic situations.
Yeah.
Whereas before you'd accept it and then the self-judgment.
And I cater to it and I'd prioritize their experience and them feeling good over me prioritizing myself.
Because it would induce self-judgment being around them in a negative way.
Yeah. And then the other thing is like I just want to be more healthy. Like I want to drink less. I want to go to the gym. I think having a routine, something I've learned about myself is I feel better when I have a routine, when I'm being productive. I just feel better about myself. So being intentional about the things that I'm doing on a day to day to reinforce like, no, I am doing good, you know, because when I'm sleeping in late or when I get way too drunk the next day.
Oh my gosh.
It's like the Sunday scaries are, dude.
The hangxiety.
It's unbearable.
I don't fuck with the hangxiety anymore.
It's so bad.
It never will end.
Oh, God.
Like, I'm like, am I not over the hangxiety? And then it happens. And I'm like, yep.
It's so bad. So
No one can stop that.
I don't know. I mean, I think that's all I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
If you guys in the comments have any like good suggestions, hook us up.
Hook us up. let each other
Please?
know.
Yeah.
Let's start this conversation.
We need help. No.
Help us.
I'm glad that genuinely we're doing this together, because I'll always be here for you when you're like, oh my
Yes.
gosh, I'm so cringe. And I'm like, no, you're not. I am.
Yeah.
And to kind of like bring each other back down to earth. And I think that didn't mean for that, but like, I think that's another great thing, is having really solid people around you and in your life to uplift you.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. And to just be like your positive reinforcement, and just people that really notice the best parts of you.
Yeah.
And don't even bring out or notice the worst parts of you, if that makes
Totally.
sense. It's like you already notice the worst parts of yourself, or whatever it is, to be surrounded by anybody that also does that in not a good way.
Yeah.
Because there can be a positive to it.
Not constructive, but just like
Judgment.
yeah. Or somebody who's like, their self-worth is tethered to how you act, which is, I think, something like
Yes.
in LA. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. I don't know about the rest of the world, but here people like really attach their pride to like who they hang with.
Yeah.
I think that's when it's toxic.
Toxic.
Is when they're like, oh, I can't surround myself with you because of how you're. It's like, dude, then you don't really care about me.
Yeah, and it is more about you than it is more about the other person.
Yeah,
You know?
totally.
I've been told that before by somebody very close to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also had the people that were also directly around me and them be like, what are you talking about? You don't, like, you're funny, or you're like exciting to be around, and blah, blah, blah. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas the other person would feel embarrassed,
I
or
think
just
small
whatever.
people get intimidated when somebody's like really walking in who they are.
Yeah. But
And
when
so
you
they try
care,
to suppress that.
but when you care about their opinion, you can start feeling, or you can start suppressing yourself after a while. And then you do notice yourself when you're being big. It's like it's like how we were talking about when you're a kid and little things like that happen. You don't just, it's hard to be just automatically yourself, because then you're yourself, and then you think about the reaction that you got last time, or whatever it is, you know, and you can no longer freely just be you.
Because life is lifing.
Because life is
At all
lifing,
times.
and the waves are waving. And the tide is
And we're
tiding.
just playing in the sand.
We're just playing in the sand
Yeah.
with all the little sand critters. And the rocks are just hitting us. And the oysters are settling. And the dead crabs are crabbing.
I'm trying to contribute to this, but I think you're killing it.
And the seaweed is
Seaweeding. And the boat is floating.
The boat crashes
Oh, what?
in the shore.
Okay.
And
Lobsters.
no,
Did you already
the
say
Coast
that?
Guard comes to
Why are you
save the
saying
boat.
this like I know it comes
The Coast Guard comes to save the boat.
Okay. Yeah. Anyways. Well, that's our time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to say more on this topic.
We kind of just blinked and now we're here.
Honestly, fuck being self-critical in a bad way. It's good to be self-aware. Fuck being mean to yourself. You're amazing, and you're your number one fan always.
Totally. They hear you.
Rock on. Keep rocking the
Yeah.
rock.
All right,
Anyways,
good. Well, this
I'm
is the
turning
Anxious
off.
Club. And we love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. As always, follow us on the social.
Follow us on the socials, okay? Especially the Ticker Tuckers.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Okay,
All right.
guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Anxious Club podcast, and we will see you next
Next time.
episode, okay? We love you so much.
Bye.